everybody. My name's Mike Belvo from Dementia Action Alliance. I'm a board member, and we'd like to welcome you today to Professional Insights. And I'm really happy and thrilled to have a very good friend of mine, Tammy Pozerycki, who is just recently started her own consulting business, but who's been working in the dementia field for many years. And I'm going to let her tell you exactly what it is she does because she could tell it better than I can. So I'm gonna turn it over to Tammy and let her explain to you exactly how and what she does.
Hi, everybody. I actually have been in the field of healthcare for about 23 years, and my passion has evolved over time of working with people living with dementia and their families, and now just recently really wanting to focus more on healthcare professionals. So in my consulting and training business, Alternatives in Alzheimer's Care, I'm working with professionals, I'm working with communities, trying to get folks to become more aware, very educated, remove the stigma. And I developed my passion really when my grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And we went on a very long journey with her with that disease. So, yeah, and I'm very glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're happy to have you here. I mean, you and I have fortunately known each other for some time now, and um, I've always loved your your zest for your enthusiasm, the way you act, treat people with respect and kindness and everything. But um, how would you? I know we're going to talk about the dementia friendly movement, but I really think that what you do, especially working with professionals, goes hand in hand with the dementia friendly movement. And if you could explain that a little bit to people about what exactly does that mean? What does dementia friendly mean? As a
Sure.
community.
I think most importantly, it's understanding what dementia even means, what the disease means, what are the things to look for. But mostly, my main goal is to get people to understand how to listen, how to communicate, and how to understand feelings behind what people are trying to say. Um, what I've seen and experienced is most people who are diagnosed and their families go into hiding. Yes, they have to go through a grief process and first hits with the shock and the denial and all that goes with that. But most importantly, they close the windows, they close the doors, and they just shut themselves in. And that's the worst thing a person and a caregiver can do. So I feel like the more we can embrace it, because it's not going away, it's only getting bigger. If we can embrace it and teach people that this is nothing for people to fear, this is something that just needs a little bit of understanding and kindness. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Um, that we can bring people out of hiding, that we can get them more involved in their community. So the professionals that I work with, they're everybody from the people working in home care agencies to assisted living, more institutionalized care, but I'm trying to bring that to other healthcare professionals as well. I'm teaching and training dental professionals now, audiologists, eye physicians, you name it. And also, part of Dementia Friendly is working with first responders, police, fire, EMT. And now with the new law that has been passed in Massachusetts regarding the mandatory education for physicians and nurses and hospitals, which has been needed for so long, I am just really excited to be in this state right now because I'm seeing more and more dementia-friendly communities, more and more first responder training, more and more hospitals really taking a look at how do we, and my tagline for my adult day program that I had run was create a better day. And that's really, if you can just try to do that for a person, creating those moments where they can feel positive, that to me is just what my whole passion of what I do comes from, putting a smile on people's faces.
That's fantastic. I loved what you said about getting the person back out in the community, because when I talk about dementia friendly and the dementia friendly movement, that's the one thing that I hit on every single time. Um, I've spoken at a few different things in the state about dementia friendly, and I always tell folks the most important thing that I think that it does is it gets the person living with dementia back out in the community where they belong, so that they feel like they're still part of the community. They're not, that stigma is hopefully gone, and that they don't have to be afraid of when they walk in the bank, if they are getting a little confused or a little frustrated, that there's somebody there who's going to, help them do what they need to do. And um, we, before we moved to the town we're living in now, I was very fortunate that the senior center had set up a dementia friendly training session, and we were completely blown away. It was a small town, 9,000 people, but they had to turn people away
Oh, that's
from
awesome.
coming to the meeting because they had too many people. And this was all first responders, municipalities, just the town people. They hadn't even gotten to the point of going, doing the same type of training session for the small businesses in the town. So, I mean, it was really exciting. People came out of that training going, wow, and really changed their perception of dementia um, when they think about it now, and especially for people with younger onset. Um, I got up and spoke and talked to them a little bit, and went around the room and afterwards and talked to people, and they had like, you know, we really need to start thinking about this differently. And that's what I love about dementia friendly. And that's what I think it's one of the most important things it's doing is getting the people back out in the community and changing the stigma.
Well, and what I found most important is that people actually say it. I have just been diagnosed with whatever. Um, I did a talk at the Ashland Council on Aging. We did a dementia friendly kickoff because Ashland's now in their beginning stages. And there was a woman there still driving, still very independent. And she says, she raised her hand, I have a question. And it was, well, I was just recently diagnosed. And I was like, yay, come, I'm so happy to see you. And I think that's the whole reason why dementia friendly is so important, because then those people are more apt to tell people. When I had guests at my program, I would say to the families, your husband has Alzheimer's. You need to tell your neighbors. You need to tell people, make them aware, make them understand, because this particular spouse hadn't even told the family yet,
Wow.
So it's such a stigmatized disease, that, but I see it changing. I do. With this whole dementia friendly movement, I see it changing. I see attitudes transforming, which is wonderful.
But I was just going to ask you that because I mean, I've only done this much of it. I mean, you're out there, what I call on the front lines. You're the one who's out there educating and teaching the people. I mean, what's the reaction you've been getting from them? I mean,
That is a
it
great
excites me to hear
question.
you say, it excites me to hear you say it's changing,
Yeah,
because, as a person living with it, yeah, I mean, and I don't speak for everybody, but I know for me, it's not changing fast enough.
right.
But I mean, but you see it more than I do. So, I mean,
What I see changing is the fact that there are so many people touched. when I get in front of a crowd, I say, you may be all healthcare professionals working in this field, but how many of you have been touched by this disease? And guess what? 3/4 of the room raises their hand. I'm not kidding. In
Wow.
every single training I do. And then on a community level, having the community come together. So I've trained not only the first responders and talking with community, but like you said, the municipality workers, like the town hall staff and workers, they are absorbing this training and just like sponges, because they're not just dealing with potential residents of the town coming in, their husband, their mother, their father, their aunt, their brother, sister. I mean, it's very rare that I come across people that haven't been touched. But one unique response, and this was in a particular town I've been working with recently, um, really kind of disturbed me, but when I thought about it, I got it. So in one particular senior center, after the kickoff meeting, the outreach worker was asked to go in her office and speak to this particular resident. She was an older woman, and she was upset, very upset that we were bringing dementia friendly to the town.
Mm.
And she was offended and used terms like those people. And oh,
Oh,
yeah. So, of
oh,
course, my blood is boiling at this point. Um, but then I just took a breath and I said, you know what? She's scared. She's scared.
mm,
And for people who don't understand the disease, there are more older adults living that are in fear of getting dementia than they are cancer. And when you take a look at that, as because we develop our prejudices, our misconceptions, our preconceptions, all based on fear. And I think that, and how I learned that was when I wanted to do my specialized adult day program in Marlborough in a residential home. The pushback of the neighbors was incredible. And I mean, to the point where we ended up really getting an attorney to go against the zoning board, against the neighbors, because it was not in my backyard.
wow.
And I want to just share with you the intolerance and the, I guess I would say, ignorance to the fear of this disease. Was one person in the community stood up at that city council meeting that I had before I opened and said, what if one gets out? And I said, well, gee, I'm not opening up a dog kennel, so we can stop that question right there. Seriously. So I think, the more we can get out there and push for dementia friendly, one of my famous lines is, there's age friendly, dementia friendly, autism friendly. There's all these friendlies. I'm like, why can't we just be friendly?
There you go. There you
You
go.
know?
Sure. I love it.
But overall, Mike, I think that the people are becoming more aware,
Mhm.
and it is becoming more of I see a lot of positive things, way more than I see negative.
Okay. One of the things I was really fired up about, it might have been a year, maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember how long ago now, but I heard about a vocational school in Massachusetts. I think it's Assabet Valley, um, that had uh, dementia-friendly training for all the students. Now, was it just the students, or was it students and staff, or how did
It,
that?
this was the coolest thing to be a part of, because in fact they are the first dementia friendly high school, and it made complete sense when you think of it being a technical high school. these are the plumbers, the electricians, the restaurateurs, the hairstylists, all of the nurses, all the folks that are actually going to be going out in the community and working with people living with dementia. Um, so what Ellen Santos, who was the person at the head of the effort there, she also heads up their LPN, their nursing program. And they started with sending their nursing students to the Alzheimer's Association habilitative training.
Mhm.
And the nursing students actually became the trainers for the school. So they trained
Wow.
staff, all the undergrad. Um, and then what was even cooler was the fact that they have the Epicurean Room restaurant. And they serve a lot of seniors, and they became certified in purple table reservations, which is all
Oh,
part of the dementia friendly efforts at making
uh,
restaurants more open to having folks in for meals and
mhm.
such. So that truly, they went top to bottom training. Um, we also did a kickoff for them as dementia friendly through our efforts with memory cafes.
Oh,
So
cool.
um, I the first one started in Massachusetts. I started it in 2011,
Wow.
and there's over 100, well over 100 memory cafes in Massachusetts now. But the Metro West area, what we did was we collaborated so that we have these memory cafes scheduled in different towns on different days and times. So
Mm.
care partners and their loved ones can go almost every day of the week, can go to a memory cafe. So we did a big kickoff at Assabet where we educated people on the memory cafes, and we gave a lunch at their Epicurean room, and
Wow.
students mixed in with the caregivers and their loved ones for lunch. It was phenomenal.
That,
So,
that's incredible. When I first heard that, I was like, wow. I mean, incredible idea. I mean, I went to vocational school in Rhode Island, and I was like, yes. I mean, that just like you said, it was a makes sense. It just totally made sense, and I was really, really excited about it. I was fortunate to get to meet um, one of the, but maybe it was, what did you say her name was?
there's Ellen Santos and Kathy. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I forgot her last name, but it's Kathy and Ellen.
I met one of the two of them not long ago, and I just gave her the biggest hug. I was,
Yeah.
thank you for doing what you were doing because it's making such a huge difference. And
Oh, I gotta just mention one other thing
oh,
that is
please,
really cool.
yes.
Um, as the kickoff Ashland Dementia Friendly started, they had me do another speaking engagement at the library, and I spoke there. And this woman brought in her Girl Scout troop,
Oh my God.
and they are on a mission to do their Bronze Award utilizing Alzheimer's and other dementia education for their school, for their peers. I was like, this is just,
Wow.
yeah, that gave me
That's really
goosebumps. That was exciting.
that is really cool. Very, very nice. Well, Timmy, I know you and I could talk forever,
Yes.
and we usually like to do that over a glass of wine.
Yes.
But hopefully we can do that again. We can get together again soon. But I really, really want to thank you for coming on with us today and sharing your experiences and your excitement and your enthusiasm. It's contagious, and I hope and I know other people are going to be watching this. They're going to pick up on that as well. But we also like to invite our guest speakers to what we call dementia discussions, which occurs on Thursdays. So this is actually going to be this coming Thursday. Um, we're going to air this podcast, and then we'll open it up for discussion for people who will join us afterwards. And I think you're going to get a few questions. Um, But we really wanted to thank you for coming on with us today.
Yeah, you're so welcome, and I thank you for having me. This has been great.
This is great. It's gonna be a real good, really great session. So again, we want to thank everybody for joining us for Professional Insights. We want to thank Tammy for taking her time out of her busy schedule to join us, and we hope that you enjoy the podcast, and we hope you can join us for the discussion afterwards. And we'll see you then. And on behalf of Dementia Action Alliance, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.
We're living beyond dementia, connecting our lives to help us survive. So we live.